get in our spaces. So go ahead and lie back. Once you have your blanket, your blocks, have everything you need, take care of your root chakra, take care of those basic needs, and then lie back on your mats and start with your knees bent, feet on the floor. I'm going to sit up for a few moments, but take your time getting into your space. Props nearby, they're at the ready. And once you lie back in that two-legged table position, take a couple of cleansing breaths. As many as you'd like. Closing your eyes or softening your gaze, and take a few moments to settle in to the earth beneath you. Tapping into our root chakra at the get-go. Appropriate because the root chakra is in your tailbone at the beginning of the mighty spine. So our root chakra is about safety, survival, your basic needs. So you want to make sure you feel safe and sound in your environment. Note what it feels like to be in this space today, because the aura always changes, especially when there's snow outside. And once you've established a sense of stability within your space, delve your thoughts inward. Start to scan through your skeletal structure, another space for you to consider and to stabilize. Note how the physical body feels. Remember, the first few chakras are all about the physical. They're tangible, about things that we can see and visualize and feel. Notice the energies within this physical structure, this body. Start with the breath. Start at that base ground. How is the breath entering, circulating, and exiting? Just notice. A couple more breaths. And then we'll stay in this position for some time. So if you want to make a little adjustment, if you want to change it, you could always stretch your legs out if you prefer, or you can keep them bent. You could bring the knees together for a little constructive rest pose. So now's the time telling you, okay, I'm getting ready to do some pranayama. What do I need for that? Once you figure that out, stabilize that. Notice that change. The sacral chakra is about beginning to blossom from that root. So change is a big part of our sacral chakra, our second chakra. Its color is orange. Red is the root chakra, Muladhara. Orange is the sacral chakra. It's located just above the tailbone in the sacrum, the widest part of your spine. So I thought we would do a little bit of pranayama, a little bit of breath control, regulation, to tap into our pelvic region, which is right in front of that sacrum, part of the sacrum, right, on the pelvis. So as you're ready, continue with that nasal breath, and then start to tune into your creative side and visualize the breath coming into the body, going down into the belly, and then expanding that belly, and then leaving that belly as it softens and going back up and out. So kind of visualize that path. The sacral chakra is also about getting into our creative side. We explore in our sacral chakra. And many of you have done this belly breath before, so you can just get right into that belly breath. But if you're a little less familiar with it, the way it works, we just continue to draw that breath into the belly, feel the rise, the expansion in all directions as you inhale, and then the softening likewise as you exhale. And as you continue with that exploration, see if you can start to intensify it, drawing deeper, more breath, making that expansion more profound, and the softening, thereby more prolonged. Pelvic breath, belly breath, diaphragmatic breath, anchor breath, all names attributed to this breath technique. And we'll go about 10 more breaths. And as always, with any of our pranayama, if it starts to be too much, if you feel dizzy, turn it down or back up of it all the way. And then you can return to it when you feel comfortable. Safety first. Root chakra is good intact and intact before you start to blossom and explore. Ideas behind those first two chakras. And we'll keep going a little bit longer. Does this help you ground and root this breath work? Notice if it's that grounding is bringing you a sense of fluidity, flexibility within your body and that breath work. These are ideas associated, properties associated with our yellow chakra. Dagnabbit, I said yellow again. Orange. I apologize. And orange is my favorite color. Look at that. Orange. So fluidity, flexibility, adaptability, these are all ideas associated with our sacral chakra. Creativity, getting out there in the world. So 1 or 2 more of those belly breaths and come back down to regular breath when you're ready. Noticing the effects before you go to the next change. Prepare yourself. Notice what just happened before you go on to the next task. And then let's go into starfish pose. Starfish pose. What we'll do is we'll extend the legs out in front of us, kind of shake them out, and then start to bring them a little wide so you can bring some width to your hips and your low back and your sacral area. And when you've got your legs all nice and situated and you feel good and grounded and safe, you can bring the arms into it, bring the arms out to the side, shoulder height to begin with, and eventually maybe go even over those shoulders. You decide. So you're in a reclining position and you're making a starfish shape with your body. Creativity, imagine a starfish. Feel that opening in your sacral pelvic area. Maybe do some more belly breath in this position and tap into that breath work, bringing for even more space in your sacrum, your orange chakra. Svadhisthana is the Sanskrit word. Orange is its color. Its element is water, fluidity. Our orange chakra helps us tap into our emotions and understand our emotions. Helps us to set healthy boundaries as we begin to navigate what's around us. We root, we ground, then we start to explore the world. But we still want to maintain that sense of safety that we've established in our root chakra, allowing you to feel safe in your exploration, but also enjoy it, because it's all about our pleasure, our sense of pleasure. Sex, food, it all happens right there in our orange chakra, our sacral chakra. Who doesn't like to have sex or eat food? Couple more breaths of that belly breath. A little bit longer. Eventually, bit by bit, backing off of that belly breath, if you even did it, noticing how you feel in this starfish position. Helps you create space, not just in your sacrum, but also that length in your spine. And then when you're ready, start to come on back to that original position, bringing your arms back down, your legs back in. Stay there for a breath or two. Notice your spine. Does it feel a little bit more aligned, your chakra ladder? And then when you're ready, bend your knees, feet on the floor. Take a couple of breaths, getting used to that change. Root chakra, sacral chakra. Do the same when you draw your belly in, hugging your knees into your chest. Apanasana. And we'll stay in our Apanasana for about 10 breaths, working out those initial kinks, moving your feet, maybe rocking a little, maybe doing a little bit of rolling around, knees and feet close for protective measures on that back, or start to blossom and go a little wide. Feel that sacrum getting wider. Apanasana taps into both of these chakras. Remember, Apanasana helps us with our digestion and elimination. There's your root chakra. But it also helps you widen that spine. So a couple more breaths. And when you feel good and ready and prepared, start your Apanasana Vinyasa. We've done that many times. When you're ready, bring the knees and feet wide, and then bring them back together again, holding onto the legs as you do that, so you're good and grounded. Then bring the arms out to the sides, you're grounded. Then do a twist on either side. Just a gentle, nano twist. Coming back to the center, back to your Apanasana, and then doing the same thing with the legs extended. You extend the legs up to the ceiling, you go wide, you bring them back together again, maybe holding on to them to help you ground. Then put the arms out to the side to ground you and do a little twist. Just a little tiny twist, especially because this is our first round. Got plenty of time to explore. And then you can come back to the center, back to your Apanasana, and then continue going wide, back together again, twisting from side to side, all driven by the breath. And then the same thing with the legs extended. Wide, together, twist, back and forth. Keep going. And we'll do about maybe 7, 8 rounds of these, maybe even 10. We'll see. And we do this vinyasa a lot. It's a great way to get things going, to get you grounded and prepared, gingerly, slowly but surely making your way into greater ranges of movement, keeping your body safe and sound as you explore and see what it's capable of today. Pay attention, be mindful. Keep going, keep at it. That's tapping into your third chakra, which will be next week, your sense of stamina. Another reason why I picked this vinyasa to begin with, because it's so sacral oriented. We're rooting into the sacrum in the back. We're making it wide. We're twisting it. We're extending it. We're extending the whole spine, but especially that sacral area. Take your time. Let's do 3 more rounds. 3 more rounds. How are things progressing? What's it like this time? You do this a lot, but it might be changing a little bit. Maybe you're tapping into your creative side. Maybe you're adding a little bit of a flair to it. Again, these are all sacral chakra properties. They're physical, but they're also energetic. We're starting to tap into the emotional realm of our psyche and our existence. And take your time finishing that up. And we'll take a few moments in our Apanasana. How do you feel now? What's going on? Check in. These are root chakra ideas. And then when you feel ready and safe, start to come up. And we'll meet in whatever seated position feels right, with whatever props feel right for you. Oh, this is bothering me. It's on camera. Okay. So let's take a few moments and whoops, I think I can hear somebody. I'm going to look real quick. Yeah, we'll do a little mute there and make sure our basic needs are met so we don't have any background noise. So let's sit in our nice seated position, root into the sits bones, try to draw your belly in and tilt the pelvis slightly forward. Maybe you can feel your tailbone, your root chakra setting down, making for that tripod effect in your seat, giving you a good, nice, stable ground from which to rise. Belly drawn to keep you strong. That's next week's chakra. You're lifting your heart. Try to soften those shoulders and feel that neck lengthen and the crown of the head reaching towards the ceiling, the sky beyond. as you root into the floor and the earth beyond. Root chakra to your crown chakra. And then to add a little something to our stability, let's do Jala Mudra, which is a mudra to help evoke our sense of fluidity, our second chakra. So take the tips of your thumbs and your pinkies, press them gently together, let the other three fingers extend, and then put your hands on the floor next to you. And see if you can tent pole the fingers that are extended while you're holding on to that pinky. So you're rooting those extended fingers onto the floor, and you're bringing a sense of fluidity in the body and curiosity by holding on to that pinky with the thumb. Grounding in our seated mountain, sitting up nice and tall. Let's stay here for 3 more breaths. And then when you're ready, let's start our rainbows. You can release that mudra, bring your arms up overhead, bring one hand down. It doesn't matter which side you start. Root and ground to help you extend that spine and curve, and start small and go from there. Building upon your movement, building upon your foundation, building upon your curiosity, your sense of creativity, because you're creating curves, aren't you? Making shapes with your body. And that's easier to do the more prepared and grounded you are. Can you feel that sense of fluidity? Adapting. Let's go a few more. How are things progressing? Remember which side you started and try to end on the other side. Do your best. Coming back to center when you're ready. And then once again, Jala Mudra, tips of the thumbs and the pinkies, the other 3 fingers extended. Tent pole those fingers onto the floor, making for a seated mountain position. Usually we have all fingers rooted. Well, let's see if we can adapt to this little tiny change in that seated mountain position. One more breath. Notice the width in your body as you hold this position, mimicking our wide sacrum. Okay, so change, a big part of our sacral chakra. Let's go into butterfly. Speaking of change, take your time, organize that pose, get it good and stable. When you feel good and grounded and prepared, take a couple of breaths to notice your creation. And then let's do some butterfly flies, curving our spine, our chakra ladder to the back and to the front, towards the wall behind us, towards the wall in front of us. Keep rooting into the floor with the feet, the sits bones, Keep the hands still in one place on those legs, keeping you good and safe as you explore, as you evolve. One or two more times. Let's end in the front. Coming back to the center. And reconnect with your butterfly. Maybe it's changed. And then stabilize it. And then explore it for about 3 or so breaths. Notice. And then as you're ready, if you close your eyes, slowly glide your eyes back open. And this pose and this stance reminds me of a conversation that Penny and I were having in the very beginning about shoes and having the right shoes to walk around the streets. You know, this pose is also called cobbler pose, and we feel good and rooted with our feet. That helps ground us and root us. But I don't know, it just made me think of those shoes and being prepared as you traverse the streets, that snow and ice, that's your root chakra. So have the right kind of gear as you get outside so that you're safe. Have all the food that you need in the house before the snowstorm so you can enjoy your time. Okay, let's go into table pose. This might be a good time if you want to take off your socks. You could always keep them on. I'm going to keep mine on because these are new and they're tight. And they're gonna give me a struggle. So because we're focusing on change, let's do that tadpole frog sequence. It's a lot like rocking horses. So if you'd rather do rocking horses, you can do those. Tadpole and frogs, they're the same thing except our forearms are on the floor. So from your table, bring those forearms down and then bring them forward a little bit. So you're in a frog position. Excuse me, tadpole position. And then as you're ready, you can root into the ground to shift you back and forth. Going back and forth, inhaling with one, exhaling with another. And again, if you'd rather do our rocking horses and have your forearms up, if that's more comfortable for you, if that's safer for you, I want you to pick that option, okay? And you can try either or, stoking your sense of curiosity. There's your sacral chakra. What works for you? Rooting into the ground either way to help propel you back and forth. Lengthening your spine, widening either end of that spine, the hips, your sacrum, your shoulders, upper back and chest. I picked it because that sacral widening opportunity. Let's do a few more. Notice how things are progressing. Pay attention. And then as you're ready, let's rest in a child's position. Or maybe you're more frog-like, depending on how you formed your sequence. And let's go 5 more breaths. I'm going to lift up a little bit. My hips have been kind of bothering me this week, so I'm going to back off of it and let you have more time. Each time you inhale, imagine, visualize your spine getting extended and settling and working out those kinks just by breathing into it. And as you exhale, feel that sensation reinforce itself. Settle. Take your time. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and root into the floor. Use an inhale to slowly lift you back up bit by bit. You're back in your table. Maybe do a little bit of movement in your table. Excuse me. I really think I'm developing cat allergies here. Let's move on to some dogs, some downward facing dogs. So the next 30 or so breaths, we will explore our downward facing dogs, give you some time to explore a little bit of a freestyle yoga. We do dogs a lot. So you take your time, easing into your dogs. Try not to go to your 100% right away. Tap into your root chakra, be safe, be sound, but also be curious. Tapping into your second chakra, noticing how things are changing, noticing that sense of fluidity in your body as you move about and things lengthen and widen. And as the breath circulates the positions and the shapes that you're making, come down and rest whenever you want to. And please know that you can do whatever version works for you. So if you decide a floor version is not doing it for you today, stand up and do a wall version or a furniture dog. We've done them so many times. Get creative in your safety. Enjoy yourselves. Let go. Remember that our sacral chakra gives us a chance to learn how to adapt, learn how to let go, learn how to accept what's about. Our root chakra keeps us safe in that idea. Let's go a little longer. Let's go about maybe 6 or so more breaths, giving you plenty of time to evolve in your dogs. Maybe we'll go 10 more breaths. The more rooted and grounded you are, the more realized your dogs can be. Maybe do some 3-legged dogs, some fire hydrant dogs. What feels right for you? Feel that widening of the hips. Couple more breaths. And at some point, I suggest you make your way down to a rest position if you haven't already. Resting in a child's pose. Taking a couple of breaths, noticing how you feel. And then when you're ready, we can make our way back up into table. And then we can make our way up into a standing position. And if you'd like to use your down dog to stand up, do that. Maybe your blocks, maybe both. Come up safely, come up soundly. Keep those basic cues in mind that we do each week. Root into the floor, hinge at the hips, use those good, strong grounding muscles to lift your upper body up. Those are your first two chakras. And we evoke chakra attitudes in our practice all the time. Now we're putting names to it, names and faces to it. Okay, let's do a little standing flow. I want to keep it flow oriented in honor of our idea of fluidity in our sacral chakra. Speaking of fluid, I'm going to take one more sip. And let's meet at the top of your mats. Let's start with a good solid mountain pose. Find those two parallel lines from shoulders down to your ankles. I'm showing you from the side. You don't want to overemphasize your attention. You don't want to arch that back, nor do you want to slump. Find a nice neutral spine. 3 more breaths. Find the triangles in each foot and draw that energy up through the legs, up through your torso, all the way out through the crown of your head. Visualize and feel that energy. And when you're ready, we'll go into a chair pose. Inhale the arms up. Exhale into your chair, rooting and grounding as you bend and hinge. How far do you want to go? 1 or 2 more breaths. Use those good, strong leg and glute muscles, tapping into that root chakra. Lift up as you're ready, and let's swan dive down into a forward fold. And try to keep your spine long, hinging at the hips. Avoid hinging at your waist. You want to hinge at the hips to bring you down. Take 2 breaths down. You can always lift halfway up if you feel dizzy. Feel that tailbone reaching towards the sky as your crown reaches down towards the earth. Feel that reversal of energy there. And when you're ready, root and ground before you lift up. And we'll go into another chair pose and maybe go a little deeper this time and see if we can handle a little bit more flow. Let's bring our arms down and up, down and up. This takes a lot of core strength, especially can you feel that in your low back and really wake up your sacral energies here. And let's end in a traditional chair. And let's make our way into another forward fold. And let's stay there for 2 breaths, whatever version works for you. Lengthening your sacral ladder, your chakra ladder. Rooting to come up, landing in 1 more chair. I'm going to turn so you see the front this time. I'm going to do something a little different. See if you can bring your arms wide and then back up. Root the feet, good strong legs. One or two more. This is hard, so if it's not there for you, you could do the other version. And we'll return back to our chair. And we'll lift back up. And let's settle back down into a mountain. Take a little break. Let's go 3 breaths. Notice how you feel. Notice that energy swirling, slowing down, like a snow globe. You shook your snow globe, now it's still. Now everything is settling down into the ground beneath you. Okay, so now let's start at, let's do a little bit of warrior flow. Step that right foot back, make your way into your first warrior one. Take your time with that warrior one. And once it's stabilized, see if you might do a little bit of flow work with your arms, reaching and lowering like we did in our chair. And as you reach up, see if maybe you can find a little bit of a tiny extension in your spine, maybe even look up towards the sky. And then eventually settle with your arms up. See if you might bring those arms out to the sides and interlace the fingers behind your back. Root into the floor. Reach towards the floor with those hands. Draw the belly and lift your heart. And then release. Come back up with your arms. And then change your warrior one into a warrior two. Stabilize that warrior two. Fine tune it. Take your time, whatever time you need to do that. And spend a breath or two in a nice solid warrior two. And once you've done that, then you're ready to do another change, going into your sun warrior. And spend a breath or two there, stabilizing and exploring it. And then when you're ready, do that again, going back into your warrior two, bit by bit. And let's do some bows. We haven't done these in a while. We did these a lot last semester. Bring that back hand forward, maybe touching that front hand, that front wrist, finding a little flow in your warrior two in a different way. Right. Let's land in that warrior two as you're ready and do one more thing. Let's bring our hands once again behind our back. We've been here this morning already. Turn to face that front leg, root the feet, make those feet good and strong, and the legs good and strong to help support folding forward, bringing your torso down towards that front leg. Try to keep your spine long so you're not hunching forward. And then lift back up when you're ready. Press the feet into the floor to help you with that journey, returning to your warrior two. Breath or two here. Let's do one more sun. Let's come back to our warrior two. And when you feel good and ready, come forward. Take your time, returning to your mountain. Let's take 3 breaths here. Feel that snow globe effect in your body. Settling. And then we're going to do the same thing on the left, and I'll see if I remember that sequence. I think I will. I'm going to turn this way so you see me when I open out. So once again, from the top, let's, we won't do any more chairs. Let's go right to the warrior. Step that left foot back. Take your time, bit by bit, easing into your warrior one, stabilizing it, fine-tuning it, root chakra, right? And then when you feel safe, you can start to explore your sacral chakra, adding some movement, some flair, some change, some fluidity, but keeping it good and strong so we're enjoying it and we're not struggling. We'll do that back bend action, hands behind the back. If it's there for you, root into the floor, root into your belly, helping you to stabilize. Returning to a warrior one when you're ready. And then opening that out into your warrior two as you're ready, bit by bit. Stabilize it. Explore it. Go a little further. Nice sun on this side. Let's see, what do? We did bowing action, so we'll do that. So whenever you're ready, once you've got a good solid foundation in your warrior two, then you can start that arm flow work. Root into both feet as you bring that arm back and forth. Especially that back foot. A lot of people tend to do this. And that would mean you're rooting more into the front foot. Root into both feet so you're keeping the body stable in this flow, not injuring yourself. Back in our warrior two. And then we'll do that bowing action. Hands behind the back, draw on the belly, lift that heart. Reach the heart as you bring the heart down. Rooting into the floor with the feet to keep you safe. When you're ready to come back up, root into the feet. Notice how that keeps you good and safe and sound. Another warrior two. One more sun. Back to our warrior two. Breath or two there. And then come on forward when you're ready. And let's take 3 settling snow globe breaths. Notice. And then let's turn to face. Well, you turn and face whichever way you want. I'm going to turn and face you. So I thought we would do one more pose before we sit back down, a nice standing pose. Balance pose. Good to do once we've engaged all those muscles. I thought star pose would be in order to help us widen our sacrum and our pelvic area as we strengthen our resolve and our groundedness. So start in your mountain. What do you need in your mountain? What do you need for your star? And then you can start to shift and lift the other foot off the floor, maybe in totality, maybe just parts of it. What makes you feel safe in your balance exploration? Couple more breaths. Coming back to the center bit by bit. Staying there for a breath or two. Feeling that first experience. Understanding that first experience before you go to the other side. Even though it's virtually, well, it's not virtually the same, but it's similar. What's it like over here? Couple more breaths. Coming back to your mountain when you're ready, bit by bit. Stay there for a couple of breaths. Feel the snow globe settling. Let that happen on its own as you come back. And then if you've got some kink you need to work out, then move it. Lots of times I see people do stuff like this. They'll be in their pose and then they'll come out and just start doing this. Slow it down. Put a pause in it. Okay, now let's do it one more time on each side. Starting from that mountain, that good, stable, rooted base. Going from there. Root and ground as you rise to the challenge. As you rise towards the sky. Another breath or two. When you're ready, come back. Spend a breath or two in the middle. And when you are ready, ground yourself in your mountain and then start to shift and go to that second side. Whoop. Couple more breaths. Take care of your basic needs and fulfill your desires. Coming back when you're ready. And taking a couple of moments to reflect upon that experience. Absorbing it, yet also shedding out the energies of that experience that no longer serve you, like any frustration if you fell. Yeah, let that crap go. Shake it out. Let's march it out. Because maybe our feet feel a little too grounded. Remember, you can get too grounded, meaning that you're rigid and stubborn. You want to find a sense of flair and fluidity to your rootedness so you can be fun. Okay, so now let's make our way back down to the floor and let's meet in staff pose. Staff pose, Dandasana. We'll probably meet in this pose a lot this semester because it's all about the spine. Before you sit down, before you come to your space, make sure you have everything you need for Shavasana. Take care of those basic root needs. We're gonna do a little bit of bridge work. So you may want to keep those socks off so that your feet are good and can have that good solid connection between the earth. But I'm jumping ahead. First things first, Dandasana. Once you've found your basic needs, your props, and then find those basic lines, organizing the shape, and then fine tune that shape by starting to engage the leg muscles to root and ground you. Root those sits bones, draw on your belly, tilt your pelvis slightly forward, maybe feeling that root chakra set down. Belly drawn in, heart lifted. Control the arch of your back. Avoid slumping forward. Look straight ahead. Let's do that Jala Mudra, thumb and pinkies touching. Other fingers extended out beside you. Rooting into the floor as you keep the thumb and pinky touching. What's that like? 3 more breaths. Perhaps you can feel a settling and a widening of your sacrum, the seat of your sacral chakra. Maybe visualize the color orange bathing your sacrum. And then we can release that mudra. And then let's shake out our legs and do some leg tapping. So now we're used to being back down on the ground. Now we can go a step further and lie back on the ground. Let's start with the knees bent, feet on the floor. Everything you need for Shavasana nearby, because once you lie back, I want you to avoid sitting back up because we're really getting towards the end here. Okay. So let's start with organizing our basic two-legged table. We're going to do some bridge work. We want to find those two lines: shoulders, hips, knees, feet. We also want to make sure the shoulders and the feet are equidistant apart. And then we want to find those three corners of each foot so that we can root and connect to the earth and draw that energy up the legs, up through the torso, all the way out through the crown of the head. Arms on the floor where they need to be to support your lift. Engage your muscles in your body from your legs up into your torso. And when you're ready, use an inhale to lift up into your first bridge. And avoid going to your 100%. Just see what your bridge feels like today. Root into those three corners in each foot. Another breath or two as you lift that sacrum towards the sky. And to bring it back down safely, root into the feet. Slowly lowering back down. One vertebra at a time. And I don't know about you, but after I do that first one, I'm always compelled to bring my feet a little bit closer because I feel like, okay, I can go up a little bit higher. The closer the feet, the more grounded, the more leverage you can use. Find those basic principles, rooting and grounding and evening things up. Root and lift as you're ready. Maybe go higher. Maybe stay longer. Notice these tiny little changes. Notice how things evolve. Come down when you're ready. Take a couple of breaths to reflect upon that experience, understanding what you need for the next one. Maybe you want to go deeper. Maybe you want to back off. Lifting our sacrum, lifting our belly, our hearts. Nice little spinal extension. Let's do somewhere between 3 or 5 bridges. You decide. You keep your basic needs in mind. You decide how far you want to go. Pay attention to your experience. You want to learn. I'll give you a couple more breaths to finish up your bridge work. Once you finish your bridges, let's take a few moments on a two-legged table. Maybe bring the feet a little bit further out. So we're still in this position, but we're a little bit more low-key. Feel that snow globe effect. And then let's do a nice twist. So actually, let's do this. Let's do it from Apanasana. Draw your belly in, hug your knees into your chest, and spend a couple of breaths working out those initial Apanasana kinks. And then as you're ready, bring the arms out to the sides. And then as you're ready, bring the knees over to one side. And once you've taken care of that, then make that head the last thing you turn. So you're not just throwing yourself into your twist. You're building your twist. More able to enjoy your creation. One or two more breaths. Try to bring your head back first. That's safer on your neck. Then bring the body back. Stay in the middle for a breath or two, reflecting upon that experience before you go to the other side. What do you need over here? Take care of those basic needs. Build, fine tune, and have fun. When you're ready to come back bit by bit, head first. Return to your Apanasana and rock from side to side. Give your sacrum, your sacral chakra, a nice little massage. Maybe do a little bit of circular motion. Feel that knobby, fused sacrum. Feel those bones up against the floor. Remember, the spine is the center of our body. The sacrum is the center of our spine. Return to your two-legged table. Stay there for a couple of breaths. And this is a good time to slip your socks back on. If you want to put those socks back on, avoid sitting up. We want to keep that nervous system quiet. Even that sudden lift, even if it's just for a second or two, can disturb the rootedness, the groundedness that you've established by being down so long. So try to get in the habit. What do you want in these last few moments? Maybe you'd like to go into another Apanasana. Maybe you'd like to do a happy baby, or you might want to just go ahead and get right into your Shavasana. Take care of those basic physical needs. Think about, do you want props? Do you want support for your Shavasana? I've got blocks under my thighs, blanket under head and neck. Notice that even though I've added this, I've still got a nice neutral neck and head. You don't want your head to be like this in Shavasana, nor do you want to be like this. Settle in, take a few cleansing breaths. Releasing into the earth beneath you. Your props. Your body's weight. Release. Let go. Contemplate your experience. Take your mind through your body, wandering about your body, visualizing feeling, understanding how it feels. What are the effects of that practice? Keep your breath and body quiet. I'm going to lift back up, but you stay right where you are, as I gave us a little extra time for our Shavasana. I want you to really relax and enjoy your time in your Shavasana. I want to share with you a quote from Rumi that I think best captures the idea of our sacral chakra. I have it written in orange. When you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. When you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. So I'll leave you in silence, and maybe in your quiet, you might feel a river of joy flowing quietly throughout your body. A few more quiet breaths. And then as you're ready, slowly start to deepen your breath. Slowly start to build on that energy, feeling movement lightly returning with that expanding and softening of the breath. And then follow up with movement in the fingers and hands, toes and feet, bit by bit, slowly but surely, returning to your two-legged table. Draw your belly in. to prepare bringing those bigger limbs into that movement. Be safe in your movements. Spend a couple of breaths in each stage of your dismantling. These are all root chakra ideas to support your adapting and your moving and your evolving and eventually coming up to your seated position, so that once you're up, you still maintain that sense of groundedness. Find whatever seated position feels right for you with whatever props. Root into those sits bones, draw your belly in, tilt your pelvis, maybe feel that tailbone touching down, finding for that tripod effect in your seat from which to rise safely and soundly. And once you have established those ideas, I wanted to show you one more mudra, Svadhisthana mudra, which is named for the second chakra, Svadhisthana chakra, orange. What we'll do is we'll put our right hand right on our belly, underneath the belly button, right around the pelvic sacral area. And then you take the left hand and you bring it out to the side. And I'm doing exactly what I say rather than the opposite, because I want to feel it as well. Right hand kind of cupped over the pelvis, left hand out to the side. Feel that width and that directional energy of holding the hands like this. Grounding but widening. 3 more breaths. Notice. Then you can release Svadhisthana mudra for Anjali mudra. Hands in front of your heart chakra. May you be safe, may you be happy, and may you be free from suffering. Namaste. Thank you so much for your practice. Thank you, thank you. Please be safe out there. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. If you need to leave, go ahead and leave. Take your time.